Welcome to Your Visionary Podcast. This podcast is specifically for you and your vision. Get ready to grow. Let's go.
Life is in the detour, So every detour we experience, that's an opportunity to learn something.
You sell yourself. Doesn't matter if you're selling ice in Alaska or if you're selling sugarcane in Haiti. They're going to buy from you.
Man, all of this knowledge is in captivity when it should be out in the world. He couldn't believe that I had 25 years, but the way I carried myself, you'd have thought I had 25 days left.
We try to be something so great, and we forget that we're just being humans. We're human beings, And it's like we're enough right here.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Your Visionary Podcast. I'm your host, Visionary CJ, and today we have a special episode. One of my favorite human beings, Mike Russell. How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing great. It's an honor to be here.
Awesome. Thank you. And I didn't mention to you guys, Mike Russell is my mentor. And so you guys heard a lot about me talking about how crucial a mentor has been in my life, these past couple of months. And this is the guy, Mike. And so, how we started off. What is your mission purpose statement?
Yeah, I've got a couple different mission purpose statements, but for our company, it is we want to leave a legacy that builds strength in our community. So everything that we do is giving back to the community. So there's a saying in life that that you live by what you get, but you hold on. We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give. We make a living by what we get, and we make a life by what we give. And we take that purpose statement and we really incorporate it into our company and all of our team members within our company by making sure we build a legacy that gives back and strengthens our community.
That's awesome. And so we're going to do this episode a little different. I want to hear you talk about your business first, because I know you won over 10 awards for your business, 360 awards, TCG awards, all type of awards. So just talk about your business first and what you guys do.
Yeah, well, we're a technology consulting business focusing on 3 different areas, actually 4. Everything to do with phones, internet, cloud services, and security for companies. So we help companies make informed business decisions on their technology needs. Awesome. Been doing that for about 16 years.
16 years, wow. And his business is very, very successful. I'm proud to know this guy right here. And so let's talk about your early years. When you were in college, did you know you were going to be a business owner?
No, when I was in college, I was going to be a doctor.
You're going to be a doctor?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then something called organic chemistry came about. And organic chemistry told me I was not going to be a doctor.
Really?
So then I've always been interested in criminal justice. So my undergraduate degree from University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill is in criminal justice and political science. So I was either going to be a lawyer or a police officer. So neither one of those two turned out. So I went back to school at Kennesaw State and got an MBA in accounting and finance and started managing law firms for about 18 years.
Okay, and law firms. Talk about that career. That was a corporate career, correct?
Correct. Yep.
Okay, and I know a lot of people, they have kind of just like something happened to make them realize that corporate life is not for them. What happened to you to make you really make that transition in life?
Well, it was actually a life-changing experience. My son was diagnosed with a brain tumor. I was actually working as an accountant for a large company, and I went in and asked my boss if I could take every Friday off for the next 2 years to be with him during chemo, and he told me I couldn't, so I quit my job. I walked out, had no money, no experience, no nothing, and started, back then it was Elite Telecom Services 16 years ago.
Mm-hmm. And now it's ETS Solutions. Awesome. So just explain that journey for you, because you kind of just jumped off a ledge in a way. You didn't know who was going to catch you, if you were even going to be caught. Just explain how I was going through your mind during that time.
Yeah, well, I knew at that time in my life I'd never wanted to work for anyone ever again. I was going to work for myself. Yeah. So I looked at pizza parlors. I looked at pizza shops. I was going to sell tie-dyed T-shirts by the seashore, but I couldn't say that 3 times fast. So what I found a company that would teach me telecom and teach me phones and internet. And they said, we'll teach you everything you need to know, but we're only going to pay you if you sell. So yeah, I jumped off the ledge with no money.
Yeah. And so
No experience.
was selling always a skill you had, or was that something you had to learn as well?
No. In fact, the guy that kind of got me into this was a friend of mine from high school, and I started for about 6 years. I worked for the car wash, and I was the number one salesperson at the car wash. So when you pulled in, Christian, and said, "I need a car wash," I was like, "No, you don't. You need those tires shined. You need the wax. You need the sealant." And before you know it, I was making extra money off the tax and the wax and the tire shine and the sealants that I sold you that you said you didn't want.
All right, they came in thinking one thing, you made them think a whole totally
Correct.
different thing. That's awesome.
Correct.
Why do you think you were so successful with the selling skill? Because I feel like not a lot of people have that selling bone in their body.
But it's people skills. I had the great experience to go to Haiti about 2 weeks ago and teach entrepreneur skills to business owners in Haiti, about 40 of them. And their major question was competition. Like, I sell sugar cane on this corner and somebody else is selling sugar cane on the other corner, but they're selling it cheaper. And how do I compete against that? And I said, everybody's going to buy sugar cane, but they're going to buy sugar cane because they're buying it from you. So you got to sell yourself.
Yeah.
You sell yourself. Doesn't matter if you're selling ice in Alaska or if you're selling sugar cane in Haiti, they're going to buy from you.
Right.
And so I built my sales team up, making sure that we understood what the client needs. And once we understood what the client needed, then we can provide the solutions for that need, but do it in a professional environment and do it with trust and honesty.
Right. And so I remember I've heard that business is all about solving problems, right? And so my question for you is, what advice would you give to a college student who's struggling to figure out what problem they want to solve?
Well, first of all, they got to identify what their love is. And I keep going back to this. A lot of college students don't know what they want to do. Yeah. And by not knowing what they want to do, that creates the problems. And I think you and I have talked about this in the past, is what is passionate in your heart? What is deep down inside your heart that really makes you want to work hard and want to do what you want to do? And I think until college students find that passion and find what's in their heart, they're going to have problems. So how do you attack the problems? First, attack what you really want to do, and then go after that in your college career. You got to take the English. You got to take the languages. You got to take the math. You got to take the econ. Those are all boring things. That's not what I want to do. I want to do marketing. Okay, that's in your heart, marketing, but go after that. So I think at first identifying what your passion is.
Yeah, and I think when I first met you, I don't think I had a clear idea of what my passion was. But I remember I came to you, I was selling baby products.
You had 7 ideas.
Right?
You're selling baby products.
Right, and then I gave you you bought one of my books. Mm-hmm. My first check ever. I still have it.
I didn't even cash it. Right. My wife wants to know why you haven't cashed it.
All right, but I remember you just telling me, like, you're gifted. This is your gift. And I really took the time to think, like, okay, because at first I was thinking I couldn't really be successful from being a writer, but I think I was just small-minded at the time, Mm-hmm. And so now that one idea to just create from what I'm passionate about led me to just so many different ideas. And now, we're doing this podcast, and that all sprung from just the idea of just creating based on what I'm passionate about. And so I just want to thank you for that.
Oh, absolutely.
that advice. Well, let's talk about a time when you've experienced failure, in your business, because a successful entrepreneur, they fail more times than they succeed. Mm-hmm. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. I got so many failures that we don't have time on this podcast to talk about them all, but let me kind of tell you the big ones. Okay. So one of my biggest failures was at first was just cash flow. And I think any entrepreneur experiences cash flow. We've talked about the cash flow in your businesses. Oh, yeah. And what does it take to pay the bills? And I was $250,000 in debt, $250,000 in debt on about 12 credit cards and a couple of different loans. And I fought my way through that, and I got out of debt. And we are now, thank God, debt-free within our company. Awesome. But that was a failure that at one point put me under, and I could have filed bankruptcy and not be sitting here today. Wow. I may have gone back to washing cars like I did in high school. Right. But I think that my biggest failure, and I'm learning every day, is how to hire the right people. But you know how many entrepreneurs and business owners say finding the right person is the hardest thing that they have to do. Yeah. And it's still the hardest thing in today's economy and in today's environment is finding the right person for the job. Because there's so many people that have come out of school that have worked for me. They come to find out they really wanted to work for a large company. They wanted to sit in a cubicle and be a number for the rest of their life. Right. Well, I couldn't figure that out at the beginning. Right. So now after 16 years, I think I've finally come up with a formula. And the formula, Christian, starts with our core values. Yeah. When you do our interview process now, Our failure has been having to hire good people and keep good people. Our interview process now starts at the core values stage. And if you're not part of our 5 core values, you don't even you don't even get to what the job is.
All right. Yeah.
So I got people that are walking in saying, "What's the job and how much does it pay?" Well, that interview is very short.
Right.
When I got people walking in and say, "I'm really impressed with faith, family, and community services, the top 3 core values of your company," that interview lasts a while.
All right. That's awesome. And see, I relate hiring people to finding a team. So basically in college, it's important to find a team, find a group of friends that will be with you, 15, 20 years later. And so how do you really figure out, I guess, or no, let me rephrase that question. How important is somebody's personality? How important is their core values, and why is that so important?
Yeah, I think, especially when you're in college, that's the most important part. I'm trying to find something I just sent to my kids today.
Okay.
But anyway, it's who you hang out with, who you're impressed by, who motivates you. And I think that when you're in college today, you tend to find the wrong crowd.
Yeah.
And you tend to go after whatever people say is best for you, as opposed to what's best for your heart and your passion. And once you find that passion, and once you're in your business, I think that that's where you get your love, and that's where you're going to find the people that are going to support you. Another prime example of a question that I was asking Haiti was, she stood up and she said she sold a dress to someone and gave them 8 days to pay, and they never paid. How do you handle that? And I said, first of all, you don't sell them credit, especially in Haiti. I said, secondly, was it your friend? Yes, it was. Was it your best friend? Yes, it was.
Oh, wow.
And I said, and of course, we're using an interpreter during this process.
All right.
And I said, so rule number 1 is you don't ever do business with your friends, because a lot of times you're going to lose friends from your business. But that's good, because you're also going to gain more friends from your business. And the ones you gain from your business are the ones that are going to be your true friends.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's super valuable. And so speaking of Haiti, because I know we haven't talked since you've been back from Haiti. So what are some challenges that you faced when it came to teaching entrepreneurship to the foreign culture?
Yeah, the language barrier. Wow. And again, I talked about this. You're a world traveler. I'm not. I'm scared when I go somewhere else. I don't understand what I'm eating or what I'm ordering. So the language barrier was the tough. But the just was the nodding heads were like, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, but when you're in an environment where you are working to live, like we're working to have gas in our car.
Yeah.
They're working to eat.
Wow.
They're working to have water.
Wow.
And there's nothing above that. There's no gas in the car. There's no car. There's no bicycle.
Yeah.
There's no nothing. I'm working to have tennis shoes to walk.
And could you see the difference in their passion, in their drive?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They are, and I was riding around town in our van, all cramped in with all of our mission people. And I said, there are more businesses per square mile in Haiti than there are in New York City, downtown.
Wow.
And these are the hardest working people I've ever met in my entire life.
Yeah.
And you see them out there working. When we left in the morning, they were working. When it was after dark, they were working. And the same man that was probably 75 years old was pushing that wheelbarrow full of whatever he had in it every single time I saw him.
Wow, that's crazy. So did that like spark motivation inside of you? Because I know if I saw that, that would just make me want to like bust my ass and do whatever I have to do.
Yeah, it sparked motivation, but I got to be calm, because my team, what I wanted to at Monday morning was to say, you think you have it hard?
Okay.
I can't do that though.
Yeah.
I want to, but I can't do it.
Right.
But I wanted to read you the quote,
Go
Christian,
ahead.
because I said this to my kids and I found this today on social media. Talking about who you hang out with. A shark in a fish tank will grow 8 inches, but in the ocean it will grow 8 feet or more. The shark will never outgrow its environment, and the same is true for you. Many times you're around small thinking people, so we don't grow. Challenge your environment and watch your growth.
Oh, wow.
What do you think about that?
I think it's honest. I think it's honest because I feel like based on people's friend group, they kind of put themselves in a box. It's only you can only go so far with a group of friends, right? So I feel that's why I believe it's just so important to be intentional about who you hang around, intentional about who you make friends with. Like, I'm so glad I have you as a friend now, and I've met all type of business owners that I would have never, thought about meeting a couple years ago. And so it's just that small change itself, really changed my life.
Absolutely. Networking, right?
Yeah.
We talk about that the very first time.
Yeah,
That's who
networking.
you know.
And then just like people skills, right? Because you've built most of your business off referrals, and that's just because you're a people's person, right? And so that was another lesson I learned, that people skills are so valuable. Just being a good, genuine-hearted person will take you a long way, And so a question: when you're feeling down, like when you're in debt, and you still have to be a people's person, right? How do you manage that?
Wow, good question. Early on, it was just kind of survival for me. And now, since I've been successful, it's giving back and it's thanks. So when you're down, when you lose an account, understand there's another account out there that can be had and is going to be had. And don't let it get you down. So early on, it was survival. And now it's saying, let's learn from the experience and let's do better. What can we do better to not have that situation happen again? Whatever it is, whether it's losing an employee, whether it's losing a client, whether it's not getting something that you wanted, whatever it is.
Okay, nice. And so, speaking on survival, say as a college student, right? We don't really think about, if we don't do this or that, we won't eat because our parents are still in our lives most of the time in college. So how can you suggest that college students really create that drive and that desire to win?
Man, I got to get back to the passion because I was the same way. My parents were paying for college. My parents paid for my room and board. My parents paid for my food, and I ended up with a 2 point something. When I paid for graduate school, and I was buying my own food, and I was paying for a house, I ended up with a 3.9.
Wow.
So, but it's finding that passion. I think a lot of undergrads don't have that passion. Yeah. They don't know what they really want to do. And some of the things that you're doing at Kennesaw State is exceptional. And I think will help students understand what their passion is and what they really want to do.
Awesome.
There's too many seniors still not knowing what they want to do.
Right.
Now, again, as a freshman in college, I was going to be a doctor. But I knew what I wanted to do by my junior year, and I was focusing on the criminal justice, political science area.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so one thing about this podcast, I want to make it valuable enough to where students can listen to this and take actionable steps, right? And so I want to do a task with you. Let's put together, 4 steps to find your purpose while in college. I'll do one, and you can do one, and we go like that.
Go
okay,
ahead.
so my first one, I would say read a book. It's just that simple. Find somebody that influences you, whether they're an entertainer, whether they're a business person, whoever. If they're successful enough, they probably have a book about their lives. Pick up a book and just read their story. Because I once heard that reading someone's book is just as good as having a conversation with them. And so that would be my first step. Find somebody who influences you to do better and read a book about them, or read a book that has to do with their lives.
I 100% with read a book. I'm the worst at reading books. So I did read your ebook online.
Okay, awesome.
And I've read this book. So that's pretty much it. I'm the world's worst, but I'm ready to make that better. Secondly, find a mentor. You said I was your mentor. That's wrong. You're my mentor. We're mentees of each other. Find a mentor that can help you answer some of the questions that you might have, and that you can feel you can pick up the phone to call. So read a book.
Wow.
Read a book about something that interests you in leadership.
Yeah.
I really, or sales or whatever you're interested in, and then find a mentor. So I think that's 2 good ones.
Okay, read a book, find a mentor, and for number 3, I would say network. Use the people around you. I feel like my freshman and sophomore year, that was one of the things that I was terrible at. I was scared to talk to people who didn't look like me, right? Who weren't in the same circles as me. But as I got older, I realized that, these are the people that could eventually be working for me. These are the people that can just put me in connection with who I need to meet. And even if it's a professor, like I was scared to talk to professors, I was scared to talk in class, but it's just like speaking up and networking gets you out of your comfort zone, and you can only grow when you're outside of your comfort zone.
Absolutely. And I think that you classified yourself as an introvert. I do not think you're an introvert at all. But if you're an introvert, definitely network, but get out there and make yourself, because if you stand in a corner, you're not going to do well. You'll do okay, but you're not going to exceed. Yeah. So if you're an introvert, you got to make yourself network. And that was mine, so you took it. So from that networking, what happens when you network, Christian? You find internships, and you find people that are in the industry that's like, I never knew that I could do technology consulting and cell phones and internet. That's really cool stuff. I'm going to go work for Mike.
Yeah.
I mean, you may be in a marketing major and thinking you're going to sit behind a desk and create beautiful brochures all your life, but you might really find, you know what, I might have to draw brochures about telephones. You never know who you're going to meet. So one from the networking is being able to intern or work in a field that you might have interest in before you get out of school.
Internship.
And that internship, I do pay, but some companies don't. It doesn't matter. Pay or not.
Yeah. So
get your feet wet.
All right. What's some advice on finding internships?
Oh gosh, there's lots, but the school is good, but know your teachers, honestly. Because when I'm looking for an intern, That when I'm looking for somebody that's going to intern for me, I go to the teachers at Kennesaw State and I say, listen, I'm looking for the best whatever, and that's who they're sending me.
Okay, I didn't know
So,
that.
yep.
Okay,
Know your teachers, because your teachers can get you in touch with those companies, the people that they know,
yeah,
and get you out there.
awesome. So there you go, guys. Four four steps to find your passion in college. Let's just go over them. Number one was read a book read a book about something you're interested in, whether it's leadership, self-help, finding yourself. And number two was find a mentor. Find somebody who's just walking in the footsteps that you want to be in one day. Number three, network. Talk to your teachers, talk to your fellow students. And number four, find an internship. And so those are very valuable. But now I want to get into the success, because you have been very successful throughout these 16 years in business. Have you ever faced a time where the success almost changed you as a person? Or changed you?
Yeah. I mean, yes, it has. And I'm going to give blessings to my wife, and I've got to do it to Amy.
Yeah.
But she's the one. Now she's watching. She's on camera.
Yep.
So we're on a podcast.
Right.
I heard of
It really, no. The reason I'm successful is because the Lord has blessed us well, and to identify that blessing.
Yeah. Wow. That's like literally perfect timing.
She worked that in. How did you do that?
That was her. That's awesome. But yeah. So relationships. Relationships are super important. And how would you say that you can find somebody who's kind of your perfect match when you're at a young age? Or should you even be focused on that, while you're in college or at a young age?
No, you should. You really should be focused on what your interests are, what your personality is, and kind of like what you just said, making sure that you network and know people. Okay.
Yeah. That's awesome. And talk more about that. Talk more about how you were blessed to find a wife, and talk about your life before that.
Well, God has a plan for everybody, right? So
Yeah.
That's what I tell them. God has a plan for me failing in my business. God has a plan for me succeeding in my business. Mm-hmm. We've just been blessed that in the last 5 to 6 years, we've succeeded a lot more than we failed. But always know your plan. Some of the things that we told the business owners in Haiti was have a plan. Have a business plan. You're in school. Your school is your business. Your classes are your business. You are Christian Inc. Okay, that means I got to take this class, I got to take this test, got to write this paper.
Yeah.
Have a plan. Oh my God, I got sick. Well, then I need to write that paper ahead of time. Have a plan in case you get sick. Have a plan in case the weather is bad and I can't make it to a sale. What's my plan? What's my backup plan? I always have a plan, and so I like to. My CEO is actually is instilled this in us, is that it's Mike Inc. It's Christian Inc. It's Laurel Inc. It's you own your own business. And what is your business? Your business right now is school.
Right.
So how do you make the best of your school? What do you do when you're in business? You have a business plan.
Yeah.
What's your plan?
Oh wow, that's powerful.
And then your business goes back to your passion, back to your heart.
Right, and I think
Sure
a lot of students they're trying to move ahead. They don't even think about I have a business right now. I'm the CEO of me. They think about I want to get out of school so I can start my own business. But you should. I felt that's great news.
Yep. We know people like that, don't we?
Yeah. We do. That's funny, but yeah, that's very true. You are the CEO of you. Whether you're in school, whether you're working for someone else.
Correct.
You're still the CEO of you, which I think is very powerful. Very powerful. So we're getting to the end of this. So is there anything I forgot that you think, or is there anything you want to add?
No, it's just been an honor to know you, and it's been a pleasure to see you grow. In what, a year? It's been a year, right?
Yeah, it's been a
year.
It's been a quick year.
It's been a quick year.
Right.
So I just want to make sure that in 15 years that when you buy that private island that you have a little house for me somewhere where I can come visit.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But thank you for what you're doing for the students. And again, students at Kennesaw State, if you're looking for a resource to learn and understand what you've been talking about in these podcasts, seek Christian out. Make sure you understand where he meets and kind of talk about where you're still doing your events and everything.
Yeah, I am. So I do. I have a group at Kennesaw State campus. It's called Dynamic Dreamers, and we meet every Tuesday at 5 p.m. And even if you're not a student, you just want to come learn. We're welcoming everybody. We're getting a bigger space to where we can just have that open dialogue, because that's what we do. We just talk about our struggles, right? Because everybody in life is struggling with something. And matter of fact, my purpose statement is, I help people find happiness in their struggle. And so no matter what age you are, you struggle with something. And that's what we talk about with Dynamic Dreamers. We talk about creating a plan, like Mike said. We talk about what it means to be the CEO of you. So if you are around Kennesaw State campus, I do encourage you to come to my group. Like I said, every Tuesday at 5. And we end this podcast by asking, if you could give any advice to your 21-year-old self, what would it be and why?
Network, network, and network. It's who you know.
Yeah.
That's how you're going to be successful in whatever you know. And whatever you do.
Whatever you
network, network, network. In real estate, it's location, location, location. But for Mike, CEO of my company, Mike, CEO of Mike Inc., it is network, network, network.
Network, network.
It's who you know.
Network.
Sorry,
Awesome.
that's just the way it is. That's life.
That's real. And there it is, guys. Mark Russell, ETS Solutions. It's been great having you on. Make sure you guys tune in for the next episode. See you guys.
Thank you.